Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today we have the Civivi Governor. Thank you very much for Geared Towards Gear for loaning this to me. I very much appreciate that. It's the holidays. I'm broke. I couldn't go out and buy a whole lot of stuff, and I really wanted to review this, and he sent one along with another Civivi you will see probably before the week's out. But I do very much appreciate that. Also, they are all available in all three colors at whitemountainKnives.com right now for about $55. And use the code SDWMK at checkout. SDWMK, you get 10% off. It's the holidays. Everybody can stand to save a little bit of money there. You get a value meal for that. So yeah, not that I promote McDonald's, but I eat there a lot. So yeah, you can get a value meal out of it. So go check them out there. The three colors that are available are this gray, a black, or a blue. They are D2 steel, nice hollow grind blade. Most of the usual Civivi fare, except for that this is unique in that it runs on phosphor bronze washers instead of bearings. To my recollection, that is the first Civivi and maybe even the first Wii too that I can remember that actually runs on washers instead of bearings. Kind of makes sense with this knife. It is, as you can see, not a flipper. It is thumb stud deployment, which I like that. I've talked many times on this channel as a reviewer. You get flipper fatigue. Nothing wrong with flippers, but there's just so many of them. It's been very nice this year to have so many companies coming out with thumb stud knives. I know that they were first. They kind of went away. They kind of went out of fashion. They're coming back again, and I think that's fantastic. It is a very large knife. I will say that. It is a big one. There is no designer attributed to this. I guess it's just an in-house design. But I think it's very attractive. I really like it. The usual Civivi deep carry clip with the recessed screws, which is always nice. They didn't recess the pocket clip, but they recessed the screws. That's close enough for me. Yeah, I really like all the colorways too. The blue is a very brilliant blue. I will say, spoiler, at the end of this, I'm probably going to have to get me one of these. And I don't know if I'm going to go with the blue or the black. Who knows? I'll probably just go with whatever's available. All three colors look pretty cool. The very nice Civivi hardware you'd expect. Zero billboarding, just the Civivi logo on the pivot, and then the tiny little, it's always fun on Civivis and Wiis to try and find the steel marking. If you can see that. Yeah, just says D2 right there. Tiny little bitty letters. I really like that. If you hate billboarding, you should love Civivis and Wiis because they hide everything. The Civivi is the budget brand of Wii, if you don't know that. Let's do some specs and size comparisons before we get too much farther. As I said, this is a big sucker. You have a blade length of 3.87 inches, overall length of 8.65 inches. You have a blade thickness of 0.12 inches and a handle thickness of 0.48 inches and a weight of 4.25 ounces according to my scale. So it's a big one for sure. Let's demonstrate with some size comparisons. We will do our usual, first of all, Spyderco sandwich. We have your Spyderco Paramilitary 2 and the Spyderco Para 3. As you can see, quite a bit. It's significantly longer than either of those when open. We'll do the new one that I'm adding in, your Benchmade sandwich. This is a full-size Benchmade Griptilian. And the bug out, I think you're going to find again, quite a bit larger than either of those. And one that's probably a bit more appropriate in this price range, we are going to do the Ontario Rat Model 1 and Rat Model 2. This is your Model 1 and D2. This is your Model 2 and D2. So you can see it's even just a little bit longer than a Rat Model 1, which is also a pretty big knife. And lastly, I know I'm doing a whole lot of size comparisons, but this is kind of a teaser for a video I'm going to be doing up. I'm hoping that I have it sketched in my head to do this on probably like Saturday. We have these are very similar, kind of these slender thumb stud knives that are all the rage right now. You have your CJRB Centros. It's a little bigger than that. And more closely resembles the steel wheel Gina. almost exactly the same as that. So you're probably going to see a three-way battle to the death with these three, because they are both very much all D2 blades, all in that very similar price range. The CGRB is a little bit less expensive, but yeah, you're probably going to see that. I have all three of them. Why not do it? Why not do it up? You're also probably going to see at least one of these in my top 10 budget knives of the year. I'm not going to tell you which one, but yeah, those will be that video will be coming out in a week or so. But let's get back to this knife. Yeah, pretty darn cool. Like I said, I really like the looks of it. The blade's the first thing we always talk about. It's a Civivi. It's got a hollow grind. You know it's going to be super thin behind the edge, but it's not that thin behind the edge. It's still very thin behind the edge for a knife this big. But I measured down about 18 thousandths. Some of the other Civivis, some of the smaller ones, you know, are down to like 13, 14. So it seems like a spoiled brat problem to complain about 18 thousandths behind the edge. But it's not as thin as some of the others. But it is a nice hollow grind, razor sharp out of the box. Pretty darn good slicer. Yeah, you're gonna get the thumb stud in the cutting path here and there, but you still have a whole lot of blade left over if you avoid that. So, because like I said, it's a large knife. Tip on it, a bit skinny up towards the very, very tip, but that swedge kind of makes it look thinner than it actually is. I don't think that was gonna be a huge problem for anybody. 0.12 inch blade stock, which is fairly thick for what Civivi's been doing lately, honestly. But it cuts very well. I'm perfectly happy with the blade, and it looks pretty. I like that finish, that belt satin finish that they do on a lot of their blades. They don't do a coating on this one at all, which I do appreciate that, Civivi, because a lot of companies, whenever they make a knife with a technically non-stainless blade, looking at you, CKRT and Benchmade, you put coatings on them. We don't need those. We're fine. We can figure it out. That's why EDCI was invented. So just coat it with something and it'll be completely fine. And yeah, I'm very glad it doesn't have a coating. It makes it a lot better for me. As far as the ergonomics go, pretty darn outstanding, I do have to say. It is a very large knife for sure. So obviously all four fingers get on here completely fine. No problems there. No hot spot from the clip or anything. The jimping is just the right amount and just the right place. It's great. I love Civivi's G10 too. It's the right amount of grippy without being a pants destroyer or anything like that. The ergonomics are they're really excellent. I don't know what else to say beyond that. They are pretty darn good. As far as how it carries, let's bring out the Dickies work jeans. Again, we are not making jokes about that. We're just not. The pocket clip tension is excellent. Nice deep carry pocket clip. No thumb stud. It does have a thumb stud. No flipper, so you don't have to worry about, you know, pocket pecking, all that kind of stuff. You can get your hand past it very, very easy. Not particularly thick handle. Pretty average. Doesn't take up much room in the pocket. This is where it is in the pocket here. I always forget to move these up when I do that. So yeah, not bad at all. It carries really well for a knife this kind of gigantic. It really does. As far as the action goes, like I said, unique. It's running on washers instead of running on ball bearings, which is really surprising for Civivi. But Civivi still knows how to do a detent, and it's still pretty darn good. Not a drop shutter, you wouldn't expect it to be, but it's not far from it. It really isn't. Just a little wiggle and it still drops. Rockets out really nice. I still call the benchmark of this phosphor bronze thumb stud sort of knife to be the Rat Model 1. It's not quite as snappy as the Rat Model 1, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. Not bad at all. I'm going to say for a first effort, but I bet we or Civivi has done these OEM for somebody before. But this is the first one of their names on it that I can recall. If you want to put in the comments again down below, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall one. But yeah, overall, I really, really like this knife. This was one that I saw and was kind of intrigued at thumb stud deployment. But then I saw the size, which is something I normally never look at. I always order knives and I'm surprised by the size one way or the other. But I did actually look at the size in this one and thought, maybe I'll pass on that. That's kind of huge. But now that I have one here, it carries so nice, and now it doesn't bother me. This is a darn good knife, and I'm very, Civivi's doing so many things I like right now. They're budget company of the year, by a mile. I may even do a video about that. We will see. But they've come out with some great stuff this year, and this is absolutely no exception. And it's kind of a bit out of their wheelhouse. It's this slender, kind of stabby design with bronze washers. Liking this one a whole lot. Very, very good. And like I said, you'll see it in an upcoming Battle True the Death, and then I don't know, maybe you'll see it in my top 10 of the year. We shall see. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.